If I could, oh, you got to hit the button.
It's on.
Is that what you're after? Yeah, it's working. We'll start. Does anyone want to lead us in prayer? All right, I'll do so. Dear Heavenly Father, Lord, I just thank you for this day, Lord, and I thank you for this commission, for its city council, and for its community. Lord, I just ask that you give these individuals wisdom, discernment, and knowledge so that we can build a better community for all of Ward. I just thank you for all your blessings. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen. Amen. Please face the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right. Brittany, could I get you to call roll for us, please?
Sure will. Chairman Peters.
Here.
Shane Phillips. Here. Aaron Mixon. Absent. Michael Kendall.
Absent.
Helen Hewitt.
Here.
Carrie Price.
Here.
All right, we have a quorum.
I'm sorry,
Oh,
Alex.
yeah, Alex. We have a quorum. The first thing of business is the approval of the prior meeting minutes. I hope you all had an opportunity to go through those in the last week. If you have anything that I need to know about, please bring it up. Otherwise, I'll take a motion to approve the minutes.
I make a motion, we approve them as presented and written.
Okay.
Second.
Thank you. Any further conversation? All in favor say aye. Aye. All right, minutes are approved. Just talked to the mayor, UDO. There is no new business on the old business at this time, okay? So we're going to move on. So the first thing we're going to get.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes.
I got a question on the UDO.
On the UDO. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
I apologize, I haven't read it yet. But
It's a lot.
Yeah, it is a lot. In the UDO, does it specify the street widths, curbs?
Yes, sir.
Does it, and sidewalks, a PSI or anything like that on it?
Not necessarily PSI because that's up to the concrete.
Okay. Do we have that in now too? Okay, that's what I thought.
Not PSI.
I mean, not PSI, but I mean the width of the streets, the curbs.
Oh, yeah. Oh, absolutely.
Right now.
100%. And sidewalks too. And actually the new UDO will bump up sidewalks from 4 foot when it was written to 5 foot, which is now the requirement for ADA.
Yeah. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. All right. Our first new business is the preliminary plat for Moonlight Meadows with Richardson Engineering. Do I have someone here? If you please state your name and.
Good evening. Eric Richardson, Richardson Engineers. So I'm here tonight representing, over this mic a little bit.
There you go.
Here tonight representing Mr. Nathan Pruce on Moonlight Meadows subdivision. You may be familiar, Mr. Pruce is local. He's also built Stagecoach Estates and Stagecoach Meadows in Ward. A little bit about the project. So the project is located on 120 acres along Moon Road, just near Moon Ridge subdivision. It's a rather large subdivision, 559 lots, several phases. So we're looking at 6 to 8 phases. It's a long project. It's a lot of property and it's a long project. 6 to 8 phases. At a phase a year, you're probably looking at 6 to 8 years. So it is a lot of homes, but like I say, it spans a lot of time and a lot of property. We're very excited about the project. We think it's going to be a lot like a lot of the existing homes in the area. We've looked at the project in regard to drainage. We don't have any concerns about the drainage. All the drainage falls away from Moon Road back to the east, comes through the subdivision and to a detention pond that we've designed so that will be released in the creek next adjacent to the property at the same rate that it enters now. Also, in regard to traffic, we don't have any traffic concerns because we've got at least 3 entry points to the subdivision, at least 3 means of ingress egress, And Moon Road also has 2 entrances or means of ingress, egress, as you know. So we don't really have any traffic concerns at this time. We always try to look at traffic, drainage, and property values. So those kind of our big 3, and we don't see any issues there. As you know, if the preliminary plat's approved, we'll be working with the city to make sure the streets, drainage, and water plans are designed to meet the city standards. And we're actually working with the city right now to try to combine some pump stations out there into a regional pump station on site for this project. I'm here to answer any questions that you have. Mr. Preuss is here to answer any questions that you may have. And we're asking for preliminary plat approval. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody have any questions?
Yes, sir.
Okay, go ahead.
I don't, my question is really for me. I'm trying to understand some information around here. I'm new around here, so.
Yes, sir.
The driveways in this area, are the curbs going to be cut down a little bit for them to come up on the driveway? Are they going to have that big thunk to get up on the?
Typically, it's a rollover curb, so it's a 4-inch rollover curb.
Okay.
That's kind of the standard. Yes, sir.
All right.
I don't think it's a rough entry. It's not too bad typically. But if we build a 6-inch curb, then we have to cut the curb every time we come to a driveway.
Yes,
so
sir.
that does get a
Yeah.
little pricey to do that
Yeah.
sometimes.
Okay.
Believe it meets city standards though, city code. So
I'm not.
just out of curiosity, I guess. Yeah.
Bruce, I got a couple for you. Do we have all the capability? Do we have all the capability that we need to be able to do it? I know you were trying to get rid of grinders and things like this, and it sounds like this may come back again. I'm asking, okay?
Yeah, so currently we don't have the capacity for the wastewater. So we've been working collectively, all of us, to try to figure out a way to maybe create a new lift station and tie some of that together so that we can get rid of the existing Moon Road lift station. And I don't know where they're at on it, but I'm sure it's going to be a process, and it's going to take a bit because it's pretty complex. So. Yeah.
With this big of a subdivision, I would think it would be complex.
Like I said, we're working on it, and it's I don't really have any concerns. We're just discussing and communicating and trying to work together on it. And
So you don't really have any problems. You think you'll be able to figure it out as you work through it.
yeah, I mean, because they're going to have to do something, or they
I
can't
understand.
build homes. So yeah, no
Okay.
concerns.
All right, that's the only question I really had.
I got one more.
Okay.
This is not going to be an HOA, is it?
It's not going to be an HOA.
Is this going to be?
They typically have, they'll have a bill of assurance.
Yeah.
That's a pretty good bill of assurance. I don't know if they create an HOA or not, to be
Oh,
honest
okay.
with you.
All right, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I know that there's an HOA packet inside of this right now. Yeah.
Okay, so there probably will be an HOA, just to maintain green space or any kind of common property or something like that. I don't know
Yeah.
that it's a real active HOA or anything like that, so.
Thank you, sir.
Okay. Any other questions? This is a preliminary plat. No further discussion. I'll take, you got a question. Go right ahead.
That current layout, is that anticipated to probably change some?
It shouldn't change a lot.
Okay. Well, one question I have is around that detention area there.
Okay.
How it's got like looks like the road is just kind of continuing. What was the reason for that?
Okay, so typically.
Yeah, if you could speak
Yes, sir.
into the mic, please.
So typically, if there's a parcel of land that's over 5 acres, 10 acres, 20 acres, and we think that it could develop in the future, a lot of times we'll go ahead and stub a road out in that direction. By no means are we held to that. Yes, that can change.
Okay, that's what I was thinking.
Yes.
He was probably anticipating maybe something in the future.
Yeah, just in case it does. But like I say, now that could change as far as a road going out or a couple of lots in the end before a final plat. But I wouldn't anticipate any major changes at this time.
Okay.
Yeah.
Any other questions? No other questions? Then I'd like a motion to approve the preliminary plot as presented by Richardson Engineering.
I make a motion to approve. Second.
Okay, any further discussion? No discussion? Then all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay, motion passed. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
All right. Second, new business, preliminary plat for Windermere, and that's Tim.
Always good to see you, Shane. My name is Tim Lemons, Lemons Engineering, and I'm here tonight to present to you the preliminary plat for Windermere. This is very similar to the concept plan that we brought, I believe, last month, with the exception of the person developing this property was able to obtain the additional 5 acres that they had. Just the south 5 acres. They acquired the north 5 acres for a total of 10 acres. Something that we plan on doing with this to kind of help out with the drainage in the area is we're building a very sizable detention area, and that's going to be located about in the area where the pond, there's a little pond there where the trees are. Right, there's a little pond there, and we're going to expand it out to make it more usable. But we have sidewalk shown. We're putting a turnaround at the end of the street so that eventually when Moon Road Extension comes on down someday, they can tie into that. And also we're running fire protection all the way to the end of the street because we feel like it's someday when Moon Road gets extended, the water line down Moon Road will be coming down. And I believe it's a 6, and we can loop it together and help out everybody in the neighborhood.
So, Tony, you don't have a problem with the hammerhead at the end of that thing then? Okay, yeah, I'm just always check after that. I know that you don't like them very much, so
The only thing that I ask on the hammerhead is that it's marked a fire zone with the no parking
no
signs
parking
to where
fire zone, yes, sir. Okay.
And no basketball goals.
No basketball goals. Okay. It is a good place to play basketball. I've watched other kids doing it before, so.
And we did, along with the plans, we also turned in our drainage report to the city to outline the design of the detention area and also the water analysis and the low-pressure sewer analysis that was done as well. There's not gravity sewer anywhere around this property, so we have to go with the little grinder pumps.
Okay.
But I believe Bruce has that information.
All right. Anyone have any questions for Tim or for Bruce?
Yes, sir, I have a question.
Go ahead.
The width of the road in the subdivision, I can't read.
You need the big King James version right here,
Yeah.
you know. It's 27 feet back of curb to back of curb
back
and
to
a
curb,
50-foot
okay,
right of
all
way,
right.
yes. I've got a full set if somebody wants to look at them right here. Shows all the dimensions.
In the curb area, what is that, about 6 inches, 8?
The curb actually has a width of 24 inches on it.
24.
Right, and then we're looking at putting in the little 4-inch curb on the end. So driveways should be able to come up and match pretty close. Those things are rough to drive over, but that's the way everybody wants to build them nowadays.
They are rough.
They are very
They
rough.
all have large pickup trucks, and they don't have small vehicles that bounce down when they pull out. That's the thing.
Biggest problem I've seen with those is if you have somebody has a little sports car, you can rip the bottom louver right off of one. You
Have to
know,
be careful.
you have to come in at an angle. But yeah, that's the plan.
Any other questions? Bruce, you've got something? Come on.
So I got some questions about the storm drainage. So my concern, Tim, is, of course, you know, this right here, this area here, a lot of this spills over.
If you can speak into the mic, it would be grateful.
So a lot of this behind Castleton here, just to the east, tends to spill over into the, I guess more or less the northwest section.
Yes.
Yeah, so my concern is like fences, right, down the back of the property. And with this already kind of working its way this direction, that's going to impede what is currently existing there. And same thing down here on this side, just to the south. There's you can see a pond, and it's actually got a drainage. So this pond here down here close to Wilson Loop there, it kind of drains this way.
Right, it drains right through
Right.
there, absolutely.
And my thought is
And we got a lot of Orchard Hollow we're picking up right here.
yeah, a lot of it, I'm not concerned with what you have planned out as far as, the subdivision here. My issue is the drainage that's already, the fences that'll be put up that will impede the existing drainage.
We could, of course, these lots are very deep. I mean, these lots are on the average of 135, 140 foot deep. So between now and the final plat, we could look to see if we want to put something in the bill of assurance that would cause them to put the fences off the property line to leave a green space behind that if we needed to. So we could look at that.
Yeah, I mean, I understand, this is just your property and you can't, do
Yeah,
nothing
there's-
with their property, but
Right.
that's gonna be an issue for the homeowner if that spills over and it's hitting the back of their fence and, if it holds too much water there, they're gonna be calling us.
Right.
So,
We can do something about we could even look at maybe cutting a swell across that north property line to bring it down into the detention pond. We could do that, but that's something we could look at when we get all of our clearing done, see if we need to add it to it. Because I've got all that water going into our calculations on our detention pond, so whatever we got to do to facilitate getting it there is what we're going to do.
yeah, and just to note, right here on Wilson Loop, where the property connects to,
Sally?
yeah, so this is a major water flow over the road area when it rains. And it's because it's bottlenecked where it crosses the street and then eventually makes its way in between Lily Ann.
I've been there, yeah.
And, I mean, that's already existing.
Right.
And I think it could create a problem for, well, it's just, people are gonna complain about it,
We do show, in our calculations, we show about a 20% reduction with our detention pond. We're going to be able to cut probably about 20% on the average of the water that's coming through there, detain it.
You'll be able to retain more,
Yeah, we're
to
only-
slow down the flow.
Right, we're only have to retain what we're creating, but in this case, we had the available volume, so we went ahead and bumped it up as high as we could. So instead of it being a wash, we're actually, like on a 100-year storm, we've got 77 gallons per minute that's allowed right now, and we're bumping it down to 68 gallons per minute, or cubic feet per second. So each one of these numbers on our design is far less than that allowed. So we're retaining more water than we're supposed to, but we don't mind. It'll help everybody out.
Bruce?
well, just some thoughts here.
Okay, no, I want to know your thoughts. You're the Public Works Director. I'd
Would it
like
be
to know what you think.
Would it be possible to deepen this area here, this area, this long area that holds water, to where you get more storage to keep so much of this from spilling off?
We could, I mean, we don't.
I think it would help y'all.
We don't own to, we own up to about 30 feet from Orchard Hollow. I'm not sure who owns that 30-foot strip behind Orchard Hollow.
Well, this is
Maybe the city.
It's actually a right of way.
Okay, well, if the city owns it.
It's the city's as
Yeah,
a
we
right
can
of way.
we can look at doing something there. I wouldn't want to hold up the approval of this tonight while we look at it, because what we're doing here is a betterment already. But we can take a secondary look at that during construction to see if there's something we could do.
Yeah. What I propose is, prior to any work starting, if they could, Tim, BJ, the mayor, myself, and the rest of the department heads meet and talk about this storm drainage, just to see if we.
Because I know it is flat, and I've seen that drain. It's just a ditch, basically, is all it is in there. It's not much, I know.
It's not much of a ditch right now.
No, it is not much of a ditch, and I can see why it would flood, too, when you had a lot of rain.
Right.
I mean, granted, they're just trying to develop this, and there's already some existing stuff. But if there's any way that we can come together and maybe find a solution to help some of these other areas that's right there around it, I would like to do that. So.
Okay. Tim, do you have any problems with that?
Well, no, I mean,
I know this is a preliminary plat,
Right,
okay?
right.
So we've got a little bit of time to do some work on the final before we get everything moving forward.
I'll be glad to talk with Bruce after tonight. We can talk about it, but Bruce, one thing I have a problem with is doing any kind of retention back here. Someday that's going to be a street.
Yeah.
And so I don't know if we go in there and make it retention now, if that's going to be the city's best interest when you're ready to build a street over
I don't know
it.
if you've actually walked back here.
It's a mess.
It's really an elongated trough. It already is kind of a retention area, the width and the depth of it. That's how it acts. It fills up, and and then eventually it soaks in, but a lot of it spills over here, and obviously you don't want all that just hitting your fences and whatnot.
What we could do, depends on what the low point is in the trough, but if the low point is on this end, we could cut a ditch that goes here down to that detention pond, so that when this fills up, it's got a way to alleviate itself to go down. I mean, I have no problem looking into it, but I don't want to hold up our approval tonight, because we still got to go to the health department and ADEQ and all that.
Well,
No, I'm fine
I
with
just
what-
want to make sure Bruce feels confident that we got things going in the right direction, okay?
Yeah, I mean, he's covered himself as far as, the actual subdivision. There's just a few little areas we may need to do a little bit of something with.
Okay, and Mayor, do you have any problems with them doing a little work on the side here to see if they can get that taken care of? Okay.
And then
Because I know that is a low area and it will be flooding, and so it is important to be able to get the runoff going the right way, that's for sure.
question I have with the Hammerhead, so we already have an existing right-of-way here where it butts up to Castleton right here. Could we put that Hammerhead as a right-of-way?
Well, we're planning on putting it in.
Yeah.
We're dedicating our half of the right-of-way to go with what you've already got, so we're putting our half of the street in there.
Gotcha. So that's your half, and the other half's ours here.
Right.
Okay.
But now, what we've got shown here is our hammerhead is 20 feet wide. If the city is wanting to go ahead and build the full 27-foot wide street there, I mean, we could reduce ours down to 13 and a half, which would be half and half, but we're planning on putting 20 feet there, because if the city never doesn't do anything with that in a period of time, to meet ISO standards, we got to be 20 feet wide instead of 13 and a half.
And Tony, you're going to need that space just for your engines, right? Absolutely, okay.
20-foot minimum, right?
Uh-huh, okay.
And then another question I have, this kind of, I guess, from Tony too, on the fire hydrant. You have two of them, and you have one a little bit past this that first existing home. We would like that first hydrant to be up near the corner where it meets Wilson Loop.
Okay.
Right. I'm assuming y'all did this because of what's already here.
Right. But if you want that hydrant,
We're good with this. If we could just put this one
yeah,
up here,
that's not a problem.
we'd prefer
We got
that.
a little spot right there we can put it before we get into that drainage ditch, so we can put it right there. Now, is that gonna make our spacing between our hydrants too long?
Nope.
Okay. As long as you're
Nope.
okay with that, because it's gonna put them about 650 feet apart.
Yep.
If you're okay with that, we can do it.
Tony, you okay with moving it? Well, he can't,
Yeah. Between hydrants. Yeah, you wanna look at this?
Now we'll be on sidebar for a moment for all of those people watching at home.
I will tell you, once we get the UDO approved, this type of action and discussion will actually take place prior to coming to you.
Absolutely.
All staffing and discussions like this will be done. It'll come to you, and
It'll be already
the
taken
developer
care
and the
of,
staff,
yes.
we will have in lockstep, so.
And that
Anyway.
will be nice.
It will be nice.
It will
And
be
it also
very
have been
nice.
reviewed by a contract
Yes,
engineer.
by
Second
another
set of eyes.
engineering firm
Right now, I don't
before
have
it
it.
even comes to us. I know that will be a nice thing. And we still don't have a time for the UDO, when they're going to get it to us.
No, still waiting on
Okay.
the metro
Hey,
plan.
did you ever get anything on when they're going to finish up resurfacing 319?
Sure, how about I
know-
talk about that when we get done with this?
Oh, okay, well, I just go killing some time. I thought we might as well educate some of
Okay.
the community, you know, because I know people have asked me about it too.
319 from Dude's Place, the railroad track, is supposed to start in early October.
Oh, good,
So,
good. All
Okay.
right.
and just to know that I'm meeting with the school, Dr. Thurman and others, and RDOT next week, talk about a turn lane in front of Ward Elementary, especially in lieu of these new houses that are going to come. I had a meeting with the principal this morning about that and a few other things too. So, we're trying to look forward.
Yes.
Anything else?
And you didn't get a date for 38 yet, have you?
Oh, 38, that ain't even gone out for bids yet.
Oh, so it's a while.
Yeah, we're looking,
It's
I think that's a
ways out.
2024 bid letting. So you're
Oh.
looking at 2025 easily. I was at a meeting the other day where they adjusted the pricing, money that MetroPlan is putting in on the 3 lanes between Highway 5 and Highway 89. That should start within the next year easily.
Oh, I was going to tell you too, you know, with RDOT removing all the trees alongside of the roads on 67, 167,
Right.
some ward business owners may have to get permits from the highway department if it's able to be seen now that the trees have been removed.
Depending, yes.
Just to let you know that in advance too. I've learned that, as you know.
I understand. I understand what you're saying. Yeah, there's a lot of controversy about those trees being moved, but the reason is, and we all know this, but it's a future designation of I-57.
Yeah,
In order to make it federal standards.
highway standards,
You
yes.
got to remove all the trees. So that's what it's there for. But like I said, they'll start doing 3 lanes from Highway 5 to 89, and then in time, it'll be 3 lanes all the way to Searcy.
Is that federal standard from the Eisenhower when he made those
Probably. Probably. More than likely, it's been updated.
You can get a plane in
times.
there too if you needed to drop a B-52 bomber down. It can go right down there and go. That's
thought
why
that-
they were built. Yeah, that's
Well,
exactly.
In Europe, that's the way they were built.
Built.
Not necessarily here.
But-
Although it happens.
Yes, it has
It's a plan,
happened, but
What did he mean by, the businesses have to request?
well, the fact is that 167 is a controlled highway by the state of Arkansas. So anybody that wants to put up a billboard has to get a permit. Now, normally you don't need a permit because you can't see it from 167. Now that they've removed all the trees, now
Well-
people are going to have to get a permit. Now, the nice thing about a permit, it's $40 for 2 years. So it's not a very big expenditure for a business to have to clear themselves out. But I just heard them talking about it today because they're talking about the removal of all of the trees too and how new billboards are now showing up on 167.
Right, but they're outside the right of way. They still got to get RDOT permission because of that. And
Yeah.
this one we have, they had to go through RDOT. approval
Well, and
for
that's
that.
the only one that's really impacted by it because 319 and 38 and all of them are not scenic highways or byways or interstates, so they are not even under any of those regs. I guess we're let them continue their sidebar.
What else would you like to talk about?
Bruce, Tim, have y'all
Okay.
gotten to some kind of conclusion? Tony? And
Yeah,
you'll let them,
he's
you'll
kinda
let them
filling
take
in
it.
on
Okay,
On the storm drainage line.
Yes.
Where the detention area is, where it's leaving and going to the north of the road there to tie into that ditch.
Uh-huh.
Look at it. We just want, since it's going at an angle into that ditch, we just want like a little concrete basin there so it doesn't just chew out the ditch
okay,
further.
sure, absolutely. All right,
Yeah, we had planned on putting a concrete head wall there. We're just going to make it a little bit longer so that we can avoid any erosion.
Okay. Anything else that you all were able to resolve during the sidebar?
Yeah, the only other thing I want to add is, and this, it's probably just going to end up with, Josh is probably going to do this, and probably be me getting with him, is on the grinder pumps.
Yes, sir.
For each line that goes to said pump, whether it's a single service or a single one and then branches off, we want a redundant check valve and shut-off valve on the line that goes to every grinder pump. Because, you know, over the years, the built-in check valve to those pits will generally fail. And,
Yeah, we have,
yeah.
we have a check valve right here, where each connection comes across. We have a check valve before it hits every main, on every connection. Now it comes across here, we have a T, then we have the reducer and valve going to each one. Do you want a check valve back here too?
Yes, I mean, and even if we didn't do that, we did them back here, I'd prefer, because what we've seen in the past is, on some of those pits, like if this check valve fails, is this one will pump into this one as it's pumping down the line.
Why don't we
as well.
do this? Well, that one really doesn't, well, I don't know if that, let's look at doing this. We'll leave that one there.
Yeah, so do that and then add it here.
This won't feed back to here, and then this one won't feed into that one, and vice versa.
And preferably if they can find a way, typically a lot of times they will bury that one, but we would like that in some sort of a box or some sort of access to it.
Box so you
we
can
don't-
get to
We don't
it?
gotta try to dig it up.
Okay. Tim, do you have any problems with those things?
None whatsoever,
Okay.
none whatsoever.
And then also, we want to make sure that, as far as grinder pits, I mean, we prefer Liberty grinder pumps or grinder pits, or.
Oh, yeah,
I've got Liberty
best.
Omnivore,
Yeah.
2 horsepower.
okay.
Yeah. I just want to say it on here.
Yeah,
you know.
put it on the record.
And that's what we've got spec'd.
Okay. All right, so now my contingencies on this preliminary plat. Let's review this thing again before we make a motion. So we are going to allow the hammerhead the way it is. You want the grinder pumps and automatic shut-off valves for those with Liberty. We're going to move the fire hydrant up to the front.
Yeah, I
from
believe what he's gonna
that
do
one
is,
spot
the
there.
3 hydrants there, he's just gonna shift them down.
Okay.
A little bit, that way we get the one on the corner.
Okay.
So shift all 3 fire hydrants down.
Anything else?
They're gonna add that, what do you call it, hammerhead wall for the drainage from the detention basin to where it
Right,
exits out the ditch.
okay.
So they're gonna extend that.
Yes. Okay, anything else? Any of you have any questions of Bruce or Tim? None? All right, then I call for, yes, sir? You have one question, yes.
How about easements on the backside?
Give you whatever you want.
The 12-foot
12
easement
foot?
on the
Okay.
backside? Okay. So 12-foot
Okay.
easements on the backside of all the properties.
Okay, cool. All right. All right, I call for a motion
I'll make a motion.
to approve with the contingencies that they've agreed upon
Preliminary, yes.
on the preliminary. I need a second. Thank you, Alex. Any further discussion? With no further discussion, I call for a vote. All in favor, say aye. All right, motion passed. Thanks, Tim.
Thank you very much.
All right. Next on the agenda is Arkansas Code, annotated code 1456422. Mayor Gastineau.
Go ahead and bring full slide, please. I just want to bring this to your attention that effective 1 August, basically, we have to make notice, Planning Commission has to make notice to the school board of any plan, ordinance, regulation that affects the school district. And I've already done that for this month. The law requires them to be notified via first-class mail. in 2023. But I have emailed all of them and asked them to accept service, basically, as email instead of first-class mail, and most of them have replied back, including Dr. Thurman, that's okay. The deal is, if there's something like tonight, we had a 559 home subdivision. The school needs to know about this. So what we're going to do is we're going to send them our planning commission agendas and our city council agendas, even though it doesn't say you have to do it on them, just to make sure they are up to date and in the loop, if you will,
Okay.
on everything. So I just want to bring that to your attention. If there's a public hearing, we already do it anyway. We have to make sure it's published in the paper at least 15 days prior, which is what we do anyway. The biggest thing was the actual notification to the school board members. So I want to bring it to your attention. And secondly, they just brought up a good thing that we're going to add to the UDO is grinder pump information. We're going to put that in the UDO, and then that way, when it's approved by ordinance, it's law.
Okay. Because I know we're trying to minimize that as best we possibly can.
And I'm not an expert, but my understanding is that grinder pumps are not a bad thing because it
No.
slurries the waste as opposed to just coming down as gravity. So it's, I mean, it's. Pardon me? You don't have infiltration. You don't have infiltration. That's true. That's true.
Yeah. Okay.
So that's, anyway, I just want to make sure, I just give you all
right.
that update. It came into effect 1 August, and we started taking care of it already.
All right. Any questions? Mayor Gastineau.
We already kind of had an update on everything else earlier.
Well, we had a good discussion while they were on sidebar anyhow, so no questions. Thank you very much,
Thank
Mayor.
you.
All right. And there's no other business in front of us? Yes, Tim.
Well, first things first, I really enjoyed that last slide up there. I've been doing a lot of projects in Northwest Arkansas, and when you do a subdivision application up there, that always says there, you must contact the school district. I didn't know why, but now I know. So, you know, Northwest Arkansas and Ward, Arkansas are the only ones that are ahead of the game. I'm very impressed. We are here tonight. I sent a formal letter to request that we have a rezone hearing next month on a piece of property on Highway 38.
Yes, sir.
So we're asking you to please include that on the agenda of the next planning commission
Okay.
meeting, as required by ordinance.
All right, and that will be from R1 to C2.
Yes.
And you will have the preliminary plat, or not the preliminary, but at least the site plans for us at that time.
I will have well, actually, it will be a preliminary plat, but, because we're
Okay.
not looking at building buildings right now, but we are looking at splitting off the property that we want to do commercial. with
Just getting a
residential
bite
as
of the
well.
apple?
Just getting a little taste of it.
Little bite of the
Just
apple,
A little bit of
okay.
the skin of the apple, that's it.
Not a problem. Okay, so we need to, commission, we need to schedule a public hearing for 6:30. Yes, sir? Mayor? 6:30, and what date would that be? All right.
September 25th.
Okay. At 6:30 till 7 o'clock, and then we'll go into session after that. Okay, thank you, Tim.
Thank you.
No problems. All right, the last thing I have here are some city announcements. City Hall's going to be closed for the observance of Labor Day on the 4th. City Council meeting will be on the 18th at 6:30 p.m. And our next Planning Commission meeting will be on the 25th. And the meeting will start at 7, but we will have our public hearing at 6:30 p.m. at that time.
Let me give you a quick update on the eclipse.
Oh, yes, the eclipse.
There's been several meetings been to, and the city is starting to really plan for this. This is going to be a big deal. State of Arkansas, RDOT is suggesting that on the day of the eclipse, your traffic in the area will be increased by 670%. They anticipate more likely just total lockdown when it goes to total eclipse because everybody will just stop. The issues are going to be getting people out of town. The issues also going to be is people coming into town. We are looking at the probability of making our park a temporary RV park, so we can bring people in and charge some for them to park. We're also looking at the possibility, and this will come towards y'all potentially, waiving the rules basically and allowing people to have RVs in their front yard, not on the streets. But if I have an acre and a half. I want to put 5 RVs in my front yard and charge $200 a night. Why not? There'll be a permitting process for that.
And it's like
We'll work through it.
parking around War Memorial.
Kind of.
Kind of
We're
the
just gonna
same
make sure
way.
they- two
Absolutely. Huh?
Two things. There'll be no parking on the streets
Right.
and no dumping of sewage into city cleanouts at your house. That'll be
Sewers.
a big thing we have to look at. But just tell you that those things are coming along. It's going to be crazy. Period. It's just going to be nuts. They're anticipating 1 million visitors into Central Arkansas. They anticipate 2 to 4 times our normal population for any city within the total area, which is ours. So we're anticipating 27,000 visitors
All right.
to the big city of Ward. And if you haven't heard on another thing, Ward is now the 10th largest city in Central Arkansas, fastest growing at 12.6% over the last 3 years. And you just heard more subdivisions. We're continuing that trend. Estimated population now
And
is 6,000
congratulations.
6,800. Yeah, with all that comes nice infrastructure headaches. We need more businesses, this is true. Got to have places to put them.
Permits for like parking in the yard or whatever?
Yeah, we're going to have permits for parking in the yard, permits, of course, for parking in for RVs and for camping in the park. But yeah, we're looking at permits. If I want to put 5 RVs in my yard, I buy 5 permits for X amount. We haven't got to that point yet, but we'll get to that because it's going to be a cost to the city. We're also looking at manning the fire stations with volunteers from the 1st to the 12th, because my fear is with all this traffic and we get a medical call or a fire call, I got volunteers trying to get from their house to the station, the station to the fire. I'd rather just, and we'll put it in the 2024 budget. We talked to council already, gave them heads up. We're going to budget for bringing volunteers that we have, paying them X amount of dollars per hour on a contract basically, and man them in the fire station for that time period.
Okay.
I mean,
It's about preparation. There's no doubts about that.
we're looking at no vacations for employees, all hands on deck. There'll be some employees who'll be working night shifts, probably out at the park, manning the gate or whatever.
Well, I think everybody, whether they're a resident here or a visitor, is going to enjoy that moment when it does pass by. There's no doubts
It's a
about it.
once in a
the
lifetime. It's
eclipse.
not supposed to happen here again in the States, I think, to 2044.
Yeah.
So this is maybe your last opportunity for some of us.
Yeah. I won't see that one. Well, maybe.
I don't know.
I'll be up above it. I'm hoping.
Next one's on your
I
planner.
hope I'm not looking up to it.
I was in one in Stuttgart, Germany, and it's odd. In
Yeah.
the middle of the afternoon to totally midnight
I
black.
remember when I had one at Fort Irwin. It was so strange. All the leaves became weird things that just started going in different. It looked like I had some. It started to make me not want to walk around, and kind of a little bit as it was getting ready to do. It was just a little strange, but I'm looking
birds go
forward
down.
to it.
They're confused. All animals.
Yeah.
It'll be a great time.
Yes.
So,
Thank you very
I
much.
just want to give you a little update on the eclipse and what we got planning.
All right. Thank you. Any other business? Then I'll take a motion to adjourn.
I make a motion.
I knew you would. I'll take a second. Oh, thank you, Alex. Boy, Shane. All right. All in favor, say aye. Thank you very much.